This here is EURUSD on the 4-hour chart, and you can see a massive drop there. And actually was looking to sell EURUSD this week. That was the plan. Well, the original plan was actually looking to buy back at these lows if the market was kind enough to come back to support, but it didn't. It started off pretty bullish. We had the gap to the upside. So after the momentum, I was looking to short around 1.904. So it just missed that area. I mean, I would have entered the trade anyway because we're coming into the later hours of Wednesday, of Tuesday, and I don't normally take trades towards the end of the day. It's normally prime London or prime New York is when I look to enter my trade. So I wouldn't have entered anyway if it did test the level at that time. But I was hoping price might dance at that level a little bit, and then I could look this morning, to see what happens there with the market. But yeah, we had the volatility kick in. The market's looking really, really bearish right now, just shy of that level, but really strong drop. And now Euro is looking pretty bearish. Now going forward with Euro, it's not my favorite pair in the world. I did like that setup, but now that setup's kind of done and dusted. Now I have to try and plot another setup or find my next opportunity. And to be honest, I don't really see that at the moment. Again, looking at the bigger picture of the market is a big consolidation. So I need price to be trading at strong support or strong resistance before I do look to find any opportunities. I like this high here. Of course, we just missed that. The next big area, which looks like prices like to push into, would be the low here at 1.06700. So that's probably where we might see the next bounce for EURUSD. Of course, we'll see how we get then, how we look. But that might be the next place for a bounce. But yeah, I wouldn't look to touch EURUSD now. It looks like we're cracking through that ascending trend line as well. Of course, this daily candle hasn't closed yet. It's still live. We could still see more movement. I don't think the US elections are completely done at the moment, so you can still see more noise in the market. So I wouldn't say, okay, the worst of the storm has happened, probably, but we could still see big movements as well. So I'll wait to see how this daily candle closes. But to me, it does look like Euro's got a little bit more downside left to it. Sure, we might see some retracement and some upside, but I wouldn't be surprised if we were just put a lower high in somewhere and continue falling. So that's kind of what I'm expecting for Euro. Not really seeing an opportunity to trade that, but that's kind of my bias. Looking at the dollar, of course, we just saw the opposite of that, really big move to the upside. I mean, USD, in fairness, did what I expected it to do, which is a bit more downside than a push to the upside. I was talking about this as the first area that I would imagine the market will probably bounce from. Was not expecting such a crazy bounce. Of course, the US election had a big part to play, but that goes to show you that technicals and fundamentals, they do kind of intertwine with one another, because my bias looking for the move down and then a push up for the dollar was completely based on technicals. But the US elections gave it that momentum, that kick to get price moving. But yeah, dollar looking very bullish now. The next move for USD, I'm still looking for a bigger move to the downside, to be honest, as we do approach some of these areas up here. Unless we see a big breakout and USD becomes very, very strong, then of course I'll look to reanalyze and go from there. But this is still an area of confluence where I do think sellers will be sitting. And you can see that the dollar has had a lot of weakness here, big push down. Change that to orange, big push down, another one there, big push down. So as we come back into this 105,500 area, I do think USD will see some weakness again and a bit more downside. We haven't really seen much retracement either, to be honest. This is still a very strong bullish move. And we had a bit of retracement this week with that move there, but the market is still pretty stretched, in my opinion. So I do think a big move to the downside is going to be cooking up soon. It's just the timing of that and getting involved is going to be a bit tricky. Still going to see more news this week. Still got the Fed tomorrow as well. So it's just a very tricky time to trade, especially with on the smaller time frames as well, where you're going to refine your risk and refine your stop loss sizes very easily to get wicked out on a trade and see price move in your direction. So reducing risk this week or not even trading this week is probably the best play. But yeah, still a nice place for shorts. Looking bullish right now. Probably still see a bit more upside, but we're coming into areas where I do think dollar is going to see a big move down. Looking at some other USD pairs. So if we go take a look at Aussie dollar, Aussie dollar, big move down, didn't really amount to much, still testing the low here, as we can see. So although pretty bearish, the market is respecting support. So again, Aussie dollar, another USD pair, which I'm still looking for a bit more upside on. We've had such a big drop. I'm looking for the market to pull back. Not really looking at buying the market because they don't really have much confluence there, but maybe a sell from these areas up here is what I do fancy. But of course, it's a very, very big pullback, but it has to be a pullback to those areas. Given the conditions of the market, I don't really want to be trading inside the middle of all of this mess. I want to be situated at the top. So if the market will be kind enough to push to 0.68, that will be very much appreciated. And then I'll look to take some shorts. I did highlight this low here. As I said, not my preferred area because the pullback is not deep enough to my liking. But in fairness, it did respect the level pretty well. We did have a big sell. But now that we've respected that low pretty well as well, that gives me question marks. I still do think Aussie dollar is likely going to keep falling back to here, 0.64. But in terms of trading it, I just want it to pull back first and then continue that move so I can profit on the pullback. As the USD, similar situation as well, looking for a big pullback on this one. This is still the low, which I like to short from, but again, we're nowhere near that. Hopefully we can push up there first, but yeah, we might just keep falling, to be honest. Again, big strong move down, quickly redeemed most of that move, but I wouldn't be too surprised if the market kind of just slowly rolls over to test that low. So really what I'm looking at is shorts for Aussie dollar and New Zealand dollar. I just need a bigger pullback, which is what I've been talking about all week, but we haven't really got yet. So I'm just kind of sitting on the sidelines with those guys. Taking a look at pound USD. This one as well, tanked to the downside, but hasn't really changed much. Still testing some major support over here. Not really looking to buy pound USD. As I've said, I'm looking for a push up, for a sell. Maybe you already got it with the retest of that low. Maybe you're not going to get the big pullback I'm looking for. That is holding pretty well. We might see price push to the downside. If that's the case, then so be it. I'll probably be focusing on other setups there anyway. But to me, it does look like there's still room to the downside for pound USD back into some of these lows. Ever since we got the break of structure here, I'm looking for the market to keep falling. All I've been looking for first is a bit of a pullback to form that lower high and then the drop. But at this moment in time, we might just keep falling, and that's what the news has given us. To be honest, dollar CAD, I saw that one was looking pretty bearish at one point. But it did flip to the downside, to the upside, sorry. So as we can see, big strong move to the downside, and now price is looking pretty bullish. Again, still trading at major resistance, so I cannot be looking to buy dollar CAD at all at these levels. This is definitely an area where high time frame sellers will be lurking around. So this is still bearish territory in terms of finding some sells. I was hoping to see kind of like a retest of this low here. I said yesterday it would be nice if we can get a strong break outside of this ascending channel, which we did get in fairness. It was a strong break, but looking for the retest of that to then continue the momentum. Now it's looking a little bit bullish, but I'm not quite convinced that we're about to break to the upside. I still think the market is going to roll over at some point, especially if the DXY rejects that 105 area. And if we take a look at gold, so gold, bit of a move to the downside, which is nice because it means it's coming closer to the area which I'm looking to buy from, which is still this 2680 area. Again, that's where my confluence lies, and that's why I'm looking for the breaking test of the high. So I'm kind of hoping we go and fill that wick a bit to the downside to keep falling, but we'll see. We're actually trading at some nice support right now, and potentially we could reject this area and push up. But yeah, in terms of fit my plan well, I would like us to keep falling a little bit further and take some buys to the upside. And silver, we saw a similar move as well. Big, strong move to the downside, as you can see there. But the key thing on the daily chart is it looks like price is still holding onto that level. Again, the daily candle hasn't closed yet, so we potentially could go fill the wick and look very bearish. Or we could flip bullish. So the daily candle will play a big role in depending if we're going to hold that level or not. But if we close similar to how we're looking now and the daily candle is still above this area, I'm still going to remain bullish on silver, looking for a push back to the highs and probably a lot further as well. And if dollar does go through a bit of a drop, which is what I'm expecting USD to do in the next coming days, then that should help silver push up as well. So it'll be very interesting to see how this daily candle closes. Hopefully you can leave that big wick there to the downside. And for me, that would be the catalyst for a lot more upside in the next few days.